being with the kids for an hour, that's a lot because they're high energy and it takes a lot out of you. So one, I had empathy for you, and two, I was no longer going to save you. So just let you sit in it. You were in your old way, and my old way was to try to save you. And then what did you text me?
It's not you, it's me. It was.
But that is like such a massive step. That's why I'm like, when these guys are like, I'm waiting for my wife to make the moves. Some of these women I'm sure that you are talking to are saying the same shit.
Well, I was one of them,
There's a common conversation that I've been having with a lot of guys recently in the standard sequence program, is just that they want their wives to be the ones who take initiative and make the change. It's almost like this stalemate. It's like, hey, I'll change if you change, or I'll change if and when you're willing to do the same. And what I've found as like being an entrepreneur is looking in the mirror, there's constantly these changes and pivots that I'm making in my life to understand myself at a deeper level, to get out of my own way and be able to rise up both energetically, spiritually, physically, to embody this new man that I am. And at the same time, there was this moment in our relationship where we were both waiting for the other person, but it hasn't been like that in a long time. And I've just watched as we've both been on our own individual journeys, which has led to this really cool collective journey. So this last month has been big for you. Like, where are you at? What have you been going? Like, because sometimes, I don't know about you, sometimes I do the work in silence and then I'm like, ta-da! And you're like, yeah, I've known you've been doing this the whole time. Oh, you could have just told me.
Yeah.
So like, I know there's some things in silence that you've done. So like, where are you at?
Well, I think as I've been on this journey, to do my own work and to have this life that I only like dream of, and this marriage that we talked about back in November of last year, it's brought up, just some things for me of like showing me these old patterns that I'm still kind of carrying that I thought I had healed from, but still tend to come up from time to time. And one of those is, just a couple weeks ago, when we were trying to get out the door and make it on time for church. And you had said, like, we're never on time. And that just like instilled or brought up like this old feeling inside of me that like, I'm not good enough. Like, I'm not trying hard enough. All of these like feelings of low self-worth that got triggered by you just saying that like, I want to be on time for church. And so it's never really about being on time or the messy house and the laundry that's sitting out that still needs to be folded. It's this stuff that hasn't been resolved because I haven't given myself the time to truly sit in the pain long enough to really understand what the message is. And it's not just that like, I need you to give me more time, or I need you to help me out in the mornings so that we can get out of the door on time, which those are great, but it's also about me giving myself grace and knowing that like that morning was just a little chaotic with the boys. Like,
I think a lot of people get caught up in dealing with the symptoms. Like, so, we could easily be like, okay, we're going to leave earlier, or we're going to not pack our schedule in the morning. And while that will resolve the symptom, and it will temporarily create a fix, long term, the thing still exists.
Yeah. And that's what I noticed for myself too, is like, we haven't gotten in like one of those fights, I personally feel like, in a while, where it's like, we need to be on time. I feel like I've done a pretty good job trying to be on time, even though I know that's like something that I've struggled with like my entire life. My dance teacher used to tell me that I was going to be late to my own funeral. And so it's always been like a problem for me. And I thought I had like moved past it so that like when you were to say something, I could just stand in my own like power, stay grounded, stay calm, stay like peaceful inside. And I did at the beginning of the day, but then, we went to church, things were alive in me.
Yeah.
I like sobbed at church that day, and we came home and I was like, I just need some time alone to like think and process my own feelings, and like what was coming up for me was like all these still feelings about myself and what I believed about myself. And so it's almost like I had to like separate myself from what had happened and tell myself that I'm not that bad person that's not on time. I'm not a perfect human being. I'm gonna be not on time sometimes. So anyways,
for me, whenever those moments happen, like when I get triggered by certain things, it's because what is being said is true, and it's a reflection of how I see myself. And because I don't like that part of myself, somebody else can bring it alive, but it's not their fault.
Right.
Like when people are like, you need to know my trigger so you don't trigger me. It's like, you need to stop being such a fucking loser and deal with your triggers. Not a loser. That's not the right word.
No.
You need to stop being so like, hoping other people will solve your problems and deal with it.
Or cater to you.
Yeah, I think there's a respect for that. Like you can be like, okay, I understand what that is and you're working through it and I'll give you some space to do it. But here's the thing, if you're not doing the work at some point, that's on you, homegirl, or you, homeboy. Like you have to deal with those things. And so I've always recognized kind of like that whenever you've said something about me where, I don't feel seen or I don't feel like you give me enough credit. Well, obviously I don't, because I don't give myself enough credit. And it just becomes this reflection and this mirror holding back of being like, well, shit. The only reason it's bothering me is because that's how I speak to myself when I'm on a run with no headphones, going around Sloan's Lake by myself at 5 o'clock in the morning, just having the same thoughts about myself. And now you've just said it and brought something to life in me. Have you noticed, like, being married to an entrepreneur? Like, there's all those reels on Instagram about being married to an entrepreneur, and right, it's constant motivation and constant growth, and nothing's ever good enough. As this season of growth that we've been in, right? Like, I feel like it's forcing us to almost collide again. Not in a bad way.
No.
But it's exposing.
In a much different way.
In a much different way, but it's exposing a lot of things.
Yeah.
What else where do you like, how does that make you feel? That I'm constantly just going and going and going?
Well, I respect you a lot and what you're trying to do. And just watching you build your real estate business compared to building your coaching business, I think is a lot different. I think we were running two parallel tracks when you were in real estate, and now we're much closer. Not in just us doing the podcast together, me having the community call, and things like that. It's like we're both on our own personal, well, I'll speak for myself, but like self-discovery journey of like who I am, what are these things that I'm still holding on to that I know are still causing me to feel upset or hurt or anxious, or keep me from being the person that I know or that I want to be, like finding those things and then like still like working on them.
Yeah. You know what I recognize too is that the cycles that we're in, the cycle that every relationship is in, is that there's this season of connection and peace followed by a season of chaos and fighting. And then there's a season of makeup, and then you just repeat it.
Yeah, true.
And the only way to get out of that place is to really start to do some of this internal work.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've had to recognize for myself is just areas in my life where I'm acting out of integrity and actually betraying myself. One of those examples, and this relationship I have with alcohol is so fucked because I've never had a drinking problem to where like I was drinking all day. But I do have this thing where I'm like, if I have 2, I'm good. But if I have 3, we're having 17.
Yeah.
It's just because I get like I like it. It's fun. But I've gotten to this spot in not just hiring, Coach Carter to help me physically and with my nutrition, and him giving a meal plan of, hey, you can have 2 drinks a week. But there's also this thing in my brain of like, I've known I've needed to let go of alcohol in some capacity for a long time. And so even just giving myself the ability to make a commitment to myself that it's 2 drinks a week. Anytime I operate outside of that, if it's 2 drinks on Friday and then the next day I'm like, well, it's still the weekend, I'll have another, even if it's just 1.
Right.
And I'm out of integrity with myself, I recognize that the next day, because I've broken a commitment to myself, you, Enzo, Luca, and anybody else that comes into my world gets a version of me that isn't the best. And so I've started to recognize and pinpoint these other areas of self-betrayal in my life and being able to be like, I wasn't even aware that I was doing that. Like I had no clue.
I definitely agree with you on the alcohol standpoint. You know, it's like 2 drinks a week. But even as we've been on this like journey, focusing on our fitness and our bodies and whatnot, I have just noticed for myself that like the longer I go on this, like I know what feeling good feels like and I know what feeling bad feels like.
Yeah.
And the longer because we do go like a few weeks at a time sometimes where like we don't drink at all. And then you come back to it and you have those 2 drinks. And so obviously those 2 drinks are going to like impact me a lot differently like now. And so then I wake up the next day, I'm feeling like groggy and slow and irritable and anxious and like in my head. And it's
But to me, it's
just something that I don't
alcohol's
like.
the symptom.
Yeah.
Right? Drinking alcohol is the symptom. It's not the problem.
No.
The problem is, hey,
The
for me,
choice.
I made the commitment to do this, and then I chose to operate outside of this commitment.
Yeah.
Right? No different than, one of the commitments that I made to myself when I let go of real estate and stepped into standard, that I was going to build it differently. But just a couple weeks ago, I remember I'm sitting there in my Bible, as I do every morning, and I'm just typing and I'm kind of reflecting on my business, and I just start crying, and I realized I'm doing the exact same fucking thing. I'm building from a place of lack. I'm building from a place of chasing. I'm building from a place of performance. And I just had this moment where I was like, I am so out of integrity with myself again. I just took this old thing that I said I would never do, repackage it at this new thing, and thinking it was going to be different, but it was the exact same fucking thing. And I made a decision at that point. I was like, I'm not doing it this way. And that's why I hired David Benz as my coach. And we like deconstructed the whole fucking thing. And I realized that every time I act outside of my own values, my own integrity, and I betray my higher version of myself, there's a wake of pain and trauma that everybody else has to deal with. Because then it sets the standard for, hey, if I'm going to operate this way, and this is the performance that I'm operating at, I'm sure you probably feel like, well, I got to operate like that too. And that's not fair. So alcohol is the symptom. But for me, it was like anytime I'm out of integrity, that's when I feel like I'm at my worst.
I know for me, sometimes it's like I get so busy going through the motions and almost like returning to that survival mode or the fight or flight mode where like I don't even notice something that's maybe like coming up for me until it's like so big where it's coming out of me in tears, And I think one of those things...
Like your eyes are just throwing up?
Yeah, I'm just throwing up.
That's what crying is. Your eyes are just throwing up.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I think one of those things that I noticed, was it last week when you traveled to Canada to visit with David Benz? And I was back home with the boys for like 3 days, nothing compared to last year at all. And like I supported you. I was so excited for you to like go meet him and do your thing because I know it's the right move for you. But still, it was almost like you left and my body just went back into like the survival mode where I was like just irritable and angry and frustrated and sad because I was having to parent alone. And
well, dude, I felt it on the phone on Tuesday night. I felt it on the phone Tuesday night after my day with David. I gave you a call and I could hear it in your voice and I was listening and I had a moment. You were in your old way and my old way was to try to save you, to make you feel better, to get out of that because I was uncomfortable. And it was this narrative that I played in my mind that I'm not worthy of happiness unless you're happy. And so I chose to not play that game. And I was like, okay, hang up on the phone. I'm sitting there, right? I'm looking out at just like the towers that I'm staying at in Toronto because I'm downtown at the Sheraton. I just wrapped up this beautiful day with David. I'm on the phone with you. You're obviously frustrated. You're obviously annoyed. You're very short-tempered with me. And I don't blame you for any of it. Like I told you just the other day, being with the kids for an hour, that's a lot because they're high energy and it takes a lot out of you. So one, I had empathy for you. And two, I was no longer going to save you. So just let you sit in it. I was like, well, we can just talk tomorrow. And then what did you text me?
it's not you, it's me. It was.
But that is like such a massive step.
It's true.
What used to happen?
It would blow up into a fight, like a pretty big one. And then you'd come home and I'd be so angry at both myself and at you that I'd be like, cool, he's home. Like, I'm going to walk the other way, like not even greet you.
And it wasn't that way at all.
Yeah.
And I think that's something just to recognize that the work that you've done on yourself and the work that I've done on myself individually, then when we came together on something that would usually go into a fight or to disconnection, actually was an opportunity for us to just come back together and recognize how much we had changed.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, when these guys are like, I'm waiting for my wife to make the moves. Or even, some of these women I'm sure that you are talking to are saying the same shit.
Well, I was one of them,
Hi,
Truth.
example A here. Tell me more.
Yeah, thanks for being the mirror. Yeah, I don't know. I wanted you to change. I thought that you were the problem and things weren't going to get better until you stopped working so much.
It's
honestly.
Me. Hi, I'm the problem, it's me. That's Taylor Swift is your favorite artist.
She is, yeah.
Did you ever listen to that song and then maybe have a revelation that it was you?
Yeah.
Is that how it happened?
Yeah.
How did it happen? If it wasn't Taylor, how did it happen?
Gosh. I think it was a bunch of things that just compound, like therapy and repeating the same fights over and over and over. And then you finally taking a different stance and being like, I'm not going to talk about this until you calm down or whatever it was. So like those things, and then eventually getting into the daily devotional and starting to read like scripture.
Getting to the Bible and bringing God into our marriage and going to church, which is all shit that if you would have told me just 6 months ago that we'd be doing this, I would have bet my entire life savings that you were full of shit.
Yeah.
Somehow here we are, right?
Yeah.
How has that impacted you?
It's given me this like peace and certainty that I don't think I've ever had in my life. I totally did not expect it, but the reason why I surrendered was I was just so tired of having this like death grip on life where I felt like everything was so hard and I was struggling. I was tired of just being down in the pit. I was tired of our marriage just repeating the same things and never moving forward. And eventually, I made the decision to turn on the Sunday service just online and stream it with the boys. I think you were gone doing something. I was like crying in the kitchen while I was trying to like just multitask, clean up breakfast or something. And Luca was sitting on the couch and he was like invested in it. And then I was like, okay, I give up. Like I'm gonna start, getting up early and reading the daily devotional to just like reset my mind, reset my heart and my soul, read scripture off of like an app on my phone and just see where it goes.
Dude, it's wild how it works. It's kind of like the thing that comes to mind is like when Kevin Hart, that audio of him being like, "Gotcha, bitch!" Like, like God was just like, "You ready now? Ha ha! Gotcha, bitch!" He did it to me too.
Yeah.
And I've watched you go in and out of faith, believing in God, saying, "What the fuck is this? I don't think He exists." All within the same day.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck you. Like, I don't think you said fuck you, but you're like, what are you in a cult, Sergio, for reading the Bible? And I'm sitting there being like, I might be. Or this Gucci man says, bitch, I might be. And I was just sitting there reading the Bible. And I'm like, maybe. But at the end of the day, at the same exact time, I still think there's the work that we have to do physically on our bodies, emotionally with therapy and understanding ourselves and all of the things that trigger us. And then there's the one that is hard to categorize, which is spiritually, because everybody's relationship is different and so many people tie God to religion, and that's not the game I play. I have a connection to God upstairs, and like He's just talking through me and speaking through me and doing all this work.
Right.
But what I will say is that the moment that God entered stage right into our marriage, the whole thing shifted from chaos to peace. And when people are like, show me that there's a God, I'm like, well, if I could rewind the tape and show you 6 months ago to now, you might be like, hey, that was the parting of the Red Seas miracle, because that shit's wild. I thought you two were over.
Yeah.
And so I've enjoyed watching you do it.
Yeah.
It's like Sundays I can't believe I'm about to say this. Okay, here we go. Sundays, going to church, followed by Costco.
Yeah.
Fucking love it. I can't believe that we are here.
Yeah.
I can't.
I know.
But there's something that is just special about it. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. I think that spiritual work is like a realm that I had never opened. It doesn't sound like you had either.
No, I didn't. And there are honestly days where I go to the gym and listen to a sermon like in my headphones. Like if you would have told me 6 months ago that I was going to be listening to like a sermon while I work out, I would have thought you were like crazy.
Yeah. Well, I used to I remember my friend Bree and Mark Gentry, they were just always talking about God. And Bree was always sending me, I was like, fuck this. I don't want to listen to this. And I turned one on, I texted her back, I was like, I'm triggered as fuck by this. I was like, da 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 da. And then I realized, I'm like, oh, I'm being triggered. This is a mirror. Fuck me. I just started to sit in this place. And I was like, I did the same thing. I'm working out, doing hack squats, just listening to Mark Francie from Motion's Church. I'm just like, yeah. And then I was like, I got done with the set and I was like, what the fuck is going on? How did I go from just listening to Eminem to listening to a fucking sermon while I'm working out?
I know. I'm like, what?
What's one thing that you've recognized for yourself probably in the last, couple weeks that you're currently working on? This episode brought to you by our unofficial sponsor, Celsius.
Celsius. What I'm still working on is like two-parted. Okay. So it's one, this belief that what I have to say matters and could potentially like help another woman that is struggling in their marriage or in their like relationship. And the second piece is putting everything out there, the shit in our relationship, like everything that we've gone through, knowing that there's a reason for me to like spill all the beans and know that it's like worth it. So I don't know if those two things are the same, but like it's hard to be so vulnerable and put your heart and soul on the internet of everything that we've struggled with and not know if it's going to pay off. But that's where like the faith piece kind of comes in and like you just have to trust that whatever I'm going to say is going to resonate with the right person, and it doesn't matter if it's like 10 people, it just matters if it hits like the right woman, the one woman that needed to hear it.
It's all that matters.
But it's scary.
Well, it is scary. I mean, think about this. I'm sure we have friends out there that have watched us completely pivot our life and start talking about things that we hid for so long, and they're judging us for our marriage, judging us for the way that we're showing up as parents, probably frustrated that we are living a lie. And I get it. I completely get it. And at the same time, I care more about my peace than their feelings about me. And so while it's challenging to air out your dirty laundry, as they say, it also means I have zero skeletons in my closet. And so people can talk shit, and they will, but people are going to talk shit either way.
Yeah, I know.
I think one of the things that I've been working on is this, I'm challenging myself. Can you build a business in a life from a place of presence and not performance? All I've ever done is performed, and I've performed to a fault. Yes, it produced massive results in business and in my life, and while I'm grateful for that, at the same time, there was a cost that I have incurred and a debt to my soul by living out of integrity with myself. And I've made the decision to build this, here it is, this differently. And it has to be done from a place of presence. And so what does that mean? I'm challenging everything. Do I have to build it the way that my mentors built it? Do I have to sell and sacrifice certain things that are important to me in order to build a multi-seven-figure business? And I was on a conversation earlier today with Garrett, Jay White, my coach, and Carter Montgomery were on there, amongst a bunch of other awesome dudes. And none of us have anyone who has shown us that that's possible. So we're all doing it on our own. And what I've realized is that in doing this, I'm blazing a path that hasn't been blazed, but I'm doing it for myself. And you and the boys and my family, my parents and everybody else and my friends get to be a witness to it and get to be inspired by it or influenced by it. But I'm doing it for me so that I can build the life that I truly want, not the one that I say I want, only to have it feel like I'm lost again. And so that place has been very uncomfortable because my nervous system is rooted to performance. Yeah. If you perform, you're rewarded. If you work hard, you're rewarded. If you hustle, you're rewarded. And so the reward is great. But every time I've done that, there's a debt that is incurred, and I'm paying the debt off. Yep. And I'm setting myself free. and I'm going to do this differently. And that way I'm kind of detached from what this looks like. Mm-hmm. And the revelation I got this morning in doing this, and the thing that I've challenged myself is go slow, because it can happen like this. You can go parabolic like that, just setting the foundation, and then it's nuclear.
I will say, since you've had that realization over the last like 2-3 weeks or so, you were pretty quick to make changes, of like not doing sales calls, like over the weekends, just like resetting your schedule and stuff. So,
well, how can I sell a new standard if I'm not living it?
Totally.
That was a realization. Proud of you.
Proud
for the
of
work
you.
that you do. Oh, thanks. Thank you.
Crushing
Are you still a mirror? Are you just saying whatever I say?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, well, that obviously didn't work out. Listen, thanks for joining this podcast. We really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this, leave a 5-star review. Tell us why. Share it with somebody. If you hated this, like I said before, just be honest. If you think it's dog shit, then it's dog shit, and go ahead and leave that too. Either way, come follow my beautiful wife on Instagram, @Lizzie Ray. Come follow me, @Sergio Nazaro. And until next time, take care. Peace.